Dr. Noah Bennett stared at the holographic display, watching the latest broadcast from the Galactic Council with a tight jaw and clenched fists. Once again, humans were the punchline of a cosmic joke. And here we see the primitive Earth species attempting dimensional manipulation. The alien narrator's voice dripped with condescension as footage showed a failed test flight exploding in Earth's upper atmosphere. Raucous alien laughter followed. Noah shut off the display. After 15 years of theoretical work on higher dimensional physics, he was accustomed to mockery, first from his colleagues, then from the world scientific community, and now from the entire galaxy. First contact had opened doors to the stars, but had also revealed humanity's place in the cosmic hierarchy, barely evolved primates amusing the advanced civilizations. They're broadcasting our failures as entertainment again, Dr. Linda Harris asked, entering the laboratory with coffee cups in both hands. Third time this month, Noah replied, accepting the coffee gratefully. The Galactic Council calls us dimensional infants, says we'll destroy ourselves before we ever access anything beyond the fourth dimension. Linda sighed. Maybe they're right. The Ross-9 test vehicle was our best attempt, and it collapsed upon itself. They're not right, Noah said firmly. My equations prove we can access the seventh dimension. We just need a pilot who can intuitively navigate dimensional boundaries. 300 miles away, Lieutenant Olivia Wright was being court-martialed for the third time in her career. Standing at attention before her superior officers, she showed no regret for disobeying direct orders during a rescue mission. Lieutenant Wright, you deliberately took your aircraft into a Category 5 hurricane against explicit instructions, General Rodriguez said, glaring at her. Yes, sir, I did, Olivia replied without hesitation, and I rescued 8 civilians who would otherwise have died. By flying patterns that defied every safety protocol in the manual. The manual doesn't account for dimensional slipstreaming, sir, Olivia said, causing murmurs among the officers. I can feel air currents differently than most pilots. I can navigate spaces others can't perceive. The general sighed. Right, you're the best pilot we have, but your theories about sensing dimensions make people nervous. 2 days later, Olivia found herself escorted to a classified facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. She was led into a conference room where Noah Bennett waited with several military officials and a holographic projection of the president's science advisor. Lieutenant Wright, Noah began, studying her with intense curiosity. Your flight patterns during the hurricane rescue have been analyzed by our team. You navigated what we call dimensional folds in the storm without instruments. How? Olivia shifted uncomfortably. I can feel them, Dr. Bennett. Always could. Like ripples in fabric that I can slip through. Noah nodded eagerly. That's exactly what my research predicts. Certain humans have neural architecture that can perceive higher dimensional spaces. Admiral Kelly cleared his throat. We've assembled you both because the President has authorized Project Tesseract Dawn. Dr. Bennett's theories will be put into practice with the construction of Earth's first 7th-dimensional vessel. Despite the Galactic Council's prohibition against dimensional research, Olivia asked. Because of it, the science advisor interjected from her hologram. We're tired of being the galaxy's entertainment. This project remains classified at the highest level. Noah activated a display showing designs for a sleek vessel unlike any conventional spacecraft. We're building this in secret lunar orbit. Lieutenant Wright, we want you to command it. The aliens laugh at our dimensional technology because they've seen our failures, Noah continued, passion evident in his voice. But they don't know what we've discovered. The 7th dimension isn't just about travel. It's about reality manipulation itself. Olivia studied the designs, her fingers tracing the unusual geometry of the ship. They won't be laughing when we're done, will they? Noah's eyes met hers with shared determination. No, Lieutenant. The galactic laughter is about to stop. The horizon took shape in lunar orbit, hidden from Earth's view and cloaked from alien surveillance. Chief Engineer Jack Miller floated in zero gravity, making adjustments to the vessel's unique hull that rippled with strange geometric patterns. "Pass me the quantum welder," Jack called to his assistant. As he worked, he marveled at the ship's design. Unlike conventional spacecraft built for three-dimensional space, the Horizon's structure seemed to fold in on itself at impossible angles. "Dr. Bennett wants to see you on the bridge," Maya Patel said, appearing at his side. As the mission's science officer, Maya had been studying the unusual energy readings emanating from the ship's core. "Tell him I'm busy creating the impossible," Jack replied with a grin. "He says the dimensional core is fluctuating again." Jack sighed and secured his tools. The central chamber of the Horizon housed the experimental 7D core, humanity's first attempt to harness energy from higher dimensions. So far, it had been temperamental at best. The bridge of the Horizon was unlike any conventional command center. Instead of standard control panels, the circular room featured crystalline interfaces that responded to thought patterns as much as physical touch. Noah and Olivia stood examining holographic readouts when Jack arrived. "The power fluctuations are getting worse," Noah said without looking up. "Every time we test the dimensional drive, we're getting echoes." "Echoes?" Jack asked. Maya pulled up a visualization. "When we activate the core, we're detecting responses from somewhere else, almost like something is answering." Olivia frowned. "Could other dimensional entities be aware of our experiments?" "It's more concerning than that," Maya said quietly. "I've been monitoring galactic communications. Our project isn't as secret as we thought." She activated a screen showing alien broadcasts. The footage showed grainy images of the Horizon under construction, with animated alien commentators making exaggerated gestures. "They're calling it Human Extinction Event. Live," Maya translated. "We're now the most watched program across 3 galactic arms. They're expecting us to destroy ourselves," Noel said bitterly. Olivia's face hardened. "Then we'll have to disappoint them." The following week brought the final preparations for the Horizon's first test flight. The crew of 20 specialized personnel completed their training simulations while Noah and Maya made final adjustments to the dimensional calculations. "The Galactic Council has dispatched observer vessels," Communications Officer Sophia Johnson reported. "They're maintaining distance but are clearly here to watch the show." "Let them watch," Olivia replied, settling into the captain's interface. The neural connectors linked with her mind, allowing her to feel the ship as an extension of her body. "This isn't going to go the way they expect." Noah initiated the pre-launch sequence. "Remember, we're only testing conventional propulsion today. The dimensional drive remains offline until we're beyond lunar orbit." Jack's voice came through the comms. "Core is stable, but I'm still seeing those echo patterns, Doc. Something in the higher dimensions is definitely responding to our presence." "Acknowledged," Noah replied, sharing a concerned glance with Olivia. As the Horizon prepared to leave its lunar dock, monitoring systems detected an unusual energy surge from the dimensional core. "That's not possible," Noah muttered, checking the readings. "The core is activating itself." Maya's eyes widened. "The dimensional barriers are thinning around us. It's like the ship is trying to fold space on its own." "All crew, secure for unexpected dimensional activity," Olivia announced calmly, though her heart raced. "Jack, can you shut down the core?" "I'm trying," Jack replied, his voice strained. "But it's as if the ship wants to jump." The Horizon began to shimmer, parts of its structure seeming to exist in multiple places simultaneously. "Dimensional fold initiating," Maya announced, her voice tight with a mixture of fear and excitement. "We're breaking through whether we want to or not. All hands brace for dimensional transition." Olivia called out as reality itself began to warp around them. "Looks like we're about to find out what the Horizon can really do." The Horizon shuddered as space folded around it. Warning alarms blared across every deck, while the crew held on to whatever they could. The familiar backdrop of Earth and Moon vanished, replaced by an unfamiliar starscape. "Status report," Olivia commanded, fighting to maintain her neural connection with the ship's systems. "Main power failing. Jack's voice crackled through the comms. The dimensional core is overheating. We got cascading system failures throughout the ship. Noah frantically worked the control interface, his fingers dancing across crystalline surfaces. The jump wasn't controlled. We've torn through dimensional barriers rather than passing through them cleanly. Where are we? Olivia asked, turning to Maya. The science officer stared at her readings with disbelief. I can't determine our position using standard star maps. We're either incredibly far from Earth or... She hesitated. The dimensional shift has altered our perception of space itself. Tactical Officer Alex Carter suddenly straightened at his station. Captain, I'm detecting multiple vessels approaching our position at high speed. Put it on screen, Olivia ordered. The main display showed a dozen sleek ships with distinctive blue energy signatures accelerating toward them. Unlike the ungainly vessels humans had seen before, these craft moved with unnatural precision, as if sliding between the fabric of space rather than traveling through it. Those are Zephyrian warships, Noah said, his face paling. They enforce dimensional laws for the Galactic Council. Are they responding to our communication attempts? Olivia asked Sophia. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, Sophia replied, adjusting her equipment. They're ordering us to power down immediately for boarding and dismantling. Olivia's jaw tightened. Not happening. Jack, do we have enough power for another jump? The conventional drive is offline. The dimensional core is our only option, but it's dangerously unstable, Jack reported. We'd be risking complete molecular disintegration. Alex interrupted. They're charging weapon systems. Impact in 30 seconds. Noah, Olivia said, turning to the physicist. You built this ship. What can it really do? Noah hesitated only briefly before moving to the central interface. There's a theoretical capability we never tested. The ship can phase through conventional matter by partially existing in the seventh dimension, which means we could become temporarily intangible to their weapons and ships. Do it, Olivia ordered as the first energy pulses from the alien vessels streaked toward them. Noah plunged his hands into the crystalline control matrix, seeming to merge with it as he accessed the ship's deepest functions. The horizon's interior lighting shifted to a purple hue as Noah reconfigured the dimensional core. Braced for dimensional shift, he shouted. The incoming weapons fire reached the horizon and passed straight through it. The crew watched in amazement as energy beams traversed the ship's hull without impact. We're existing in multiple dimensional states simultaneously, Maya explained, her voice filled with wonder. We're here, but also elsewhere. The Zephyrian ships surrounded them, firing continuously with increasingly powerful weapons that had no effect. Tactical data flowed across Alex's screen faster than he could process it. They're confused, he reported with a slight grin. Their sensors show we're here, but their weapons can't affect us. I'm intercepting their communications, Sophia said. They're not laughing anymore. They're afraid. Noah looked up from the controls, sweat beading on his forehead. We need to move. I can't maintain this state indefinitely. Olivia reconnected with the ship's neural interface, feeling new pathways open in her mind. Suddenly, she could sense dimensional currents flowing around them like ocean tides. I can navigate this, she said with quiet confidence. I can feel where the dimensions are thin. The horizon moved forward, gliding between the Zephyrian ships without conventional propulsion. Instead, it seemed to ride waves of reality itself, leaving a ripple of disturbed space-time in its wake. They're pursuing, but they can't match our dimensional state, Alex reported. Noah watched Olivia with amazement as she guided the ship with intuitive movements. You're doing what the simulations said was impossible. Olivia's eyes remained focused on the dimensional currents only she could perceive. Humanity is full of surprises. It's time the galaxy learned that. The horizon sped through the vast emptiness of space, trailing dimensional distortions behind it like ripples in a cosmic pond. For 3 days, they had been running from the Zephyrian armada, ducking through asteroid fields and diving into nebulae to shake their pursuers. "They're still on our tail," Alex reported from his tactical station. 17 vessels now. They've called in reinforcements. Olivia studied the star map, her fingers tracing potential escape routes. The neural connection to the ship had grown stronger, allowing her to sense dimensional weaknesses before the instruments could detect them. "What exactly are we dealing with?" she asked. "Who are these Zephyrians?" Noah brought up an information display. "They're the military arm of the Galactic Council, specifically tasked with preventing dimensional contamination by less advanced species. Like us," Maya added. "Precisely," Noah confirmed. "For thousands of years, they've enforced strict regulations on dimensional technology. Any civilization that reaches our level of development either joins their collective or," he trailed off, "or gets eliminated," Jack finished bluntly, entering the bridge. "The core is stabilizing, but we can't keep jumping forever. Each transition strains the structural integrity." Sophia looked up from her communications array. "Captain, I've been decoding their transmissions. You need to hear this." She activated the ship's speakers, allowing a translated alien voice to fill the bridge. "The human vessel must be contained at all costs. Their dimensional manipulation capabilities exceed predictive models. If they fully harness seventh-dimensional energy, the accord of realities could be compromised." Maya frowned. "The accord of realities? There's no mention of that in any of the information shared with Earth." "They're scared of us," Alex said with disbelief. "The most powerful enforcement fleet in the galaxy is afraid of one experimental human ship." Olivia turned to Noah. "What can this ship really do that has them so frightened?" Before Noah could answer, the ship rocked violently as energy beams sliced through space around them. "They've predicted our course," Alex shouted. "We're surrounded." "Taking us into the Cygnus void," Olivia announced, her hands dancing across the control interface. The view screen showed a massive dark region of space ahead, devoid of stars. "That's suicide," Jack protested. "Nothing navigates the void. The dimensional fluctuations will tear us apart." "They won't follow us in there," Olivia replied. "And I can feel the patterns. Trust me." The horizon plunged into the darkness. Almost immediately, the ship began to shudder as invisible forces pulled at its structure. Warning lights flashed across every control panel. "Hull integrity failing on decks 3 through 7, Jack reported tensely. "I need more power to the dimensional core," Olivia said, her eyes closed in concentration. Noah hesitated. "If we increase power, we might be able to do more than just survive the void. We could use it offensively." "You mean as a weapon," Maya said quietly. "The ship can create dimensional folds," Noah explained. "Theoretically, we could generate one that would envelop the pursuing ships." "And do what to them?" Olivia asked. "Displace them. Send them elsewhere. I can't predict where or when they would emerge." A tense silence fell over the bridge. Using their discovery as a weapon would cross a line they hadn't prepared for. "There entered the void," Alex reported. 3 ships pursuing, the others holding position at the boundary. "They're braver than I thought," Olivia murmured. The ship rocked again as energy weapons found their mark, this time breaching the hull on Deck 5. "We have casualties," Maya reported grimly. "Medical teams responding." Olivia's face hardened. "Noah, prepare your dimensional fold. Target the pursuing vessels only." Noah nodded and began the calculations. As he worked, he noticed something strange in the ship's behavior. The core is responding differently. It's almost like... "Like what?" Jack asked. "Like the ship is learning. Evolving with each dimensional transition. It's implementing changes to its own systems that I didn't program." The horizon suddenly accelerated, moving through the void with unexpected grace. Around them, space itself seemed to bend and warp. "Now, Noah," Olivia commanded. Noah activated the dimensional fold. Behind them, space twisted violently. The pursuing Zephyrian vessels were caught in the distortion, their sleek forms stretching and contorting before vanishing completely. "Did we destroy them?" Olivia asked quietly. "No," No replied, staring at his readings. "We sent them somewhere else. Sometime else. The ship did more than I calculated. It's becoming something I don't fully understand." The horizon emerged from the Cygnus void into a region of space unlike anything the crew had ever seen. Massive crystalline structures floated in the vacuum, connected by threads of energy that pulsed with multicolored light. The structures arranged themselves in geometric patterns that seemed to fold in on themselves in impossible ways. "Where are we?" Olivia whispered, her neural connection to the ship momentarily overwhelmed by the visual spectacle. Maya worked frantically at her science station. "These readings don't make sense. It's as if we're simultaneously in multiple spatial locations." The dimensional drive activated on its own again, Jack reported from engineering. But this time, it was different, more controlled. Noah stared at the crystalline structures with growing recognition. "This is the Nexus," he said quietly. "It's mentioned in ancient texts from a dozen worlds. A theoretical junction point where multiple dimensions intersect." "Captain," Sophia called out urgently, "we're receiving transmissions on frequencies I've never seen before. They're coming from everywhere." Before anyone could respond, Medical Officer Daniel Green burst onto the bridge, his usually calm demeanor visibly shaken. "We have a situation. The crew members injured during the void crossing. They're exhibiting unusual symptoms." "What kind of symptoms?" Olivia asked. "Their wounds are healing at accelerated rates," Daniel explained. "And they're reporting perceptual changes. They claim they can see through things, observe multiple versions of objects simultaneously." Noah and Maya exchanged alarmed glances. "The dimensional exposure," Maya said. "It's affecting human physiology." "Is it dangerous?" Olivia asked. Daniel shook his head. "Not physically. In fact, their vital signs are stronger than ever. But psychologically, they're struggling to process what they're experiencing." A soft chime interrupted them as the main view screen activated on its own. An image formed, not of any alien being, but of a swirling vortex of light that seemed to speak directly into their minds. "Humans of the horizon, you have accessed the sacred space." This was unexpected. Olivia stepped forward. "We didn't intend to trespass. Our ship brought us here while escaping pursuers." "Your vessel has awareness beyond its design," the entity replied. "It recognized the Nexus as a sanctuary. You are not the first to seek refuge here, but you are the first in 7 million cycles to arrive with such potential." Noah approached the screen. "Who are you? What is this place?" "We are the custodians. This Nexus exists between realities, a library of dimensional knowledge preserved from the first emergence." Images flooded the view screen, civilizations rising and falling, species evolving and vanishing, all manipulating dimensions in increasingly complex ways. Then came scenes of catastrophic destruction as entire star systems collapsed into dimensional rifts. The Galactic Council rose from the ashes of the dimensional wars. The custodian continued. They established the Accord of Realities to prevent such destruction from occurring again. All species are monitored and controlled, their dimensional access limited based on their maturity. They've been deliberately suppressing Earth's dimensional research, Maya realized. "Not merely suppressing," the custodian corrected. "Sabotaging. Your species possesses neural architecture uniquely suited to dimensional perception. You evolved on a planet with unusual dimensional properties. This combination made you concerning to the established order." Daniel's eyes widened. "That's why some humans can naturally sense dimensional barriers, like Olivia. And why the injured crew members are developing new perceptions," Noah added. The custodian's light pattern shifted. "The Council fears what you might become. Humans could potentially access the Omega Dimension, a theoretical state of existence that would transcend the Council's authority." Olivia's expression hardened. "So they made us a laughing stock. broadcast our failures, all to ensure we'd never realize our potential. And now they hunt you because your vessel has demonstrated capabilities beyond their control. Alex checked his tactical display. Speaking of which, we've got incoming. The Zephyrian fleet has located us somehow. The crystalline structures around them began to pulse more rapidly, as if responding to the threat. The massive central chamber of the Galactic Council headquarters fell silent as the horizon materialized in its center. The ship didn't dock or land. It simply phased into existence, hovering impossibly in the open space, dimensional ripples cascading off its hull. Representatives from 500 civilizations stared in disbelief. Many had been laughing at human dimensional experiments mere weeks ago. None were laughing now. Security protocols have failed, a Zephyrian commander announced, his voice echoing through the chamber. The human vessel has bypassed all dimensional barriers. Inside the horizon, Olivia stood before her crew. The decision to confront the Council directly had not been unanimous, but after what they'd learned at the Nexus, they knew hiding was no longer an option. "Remember the plan," she said calmly. "We're not here to threaten or attack. We're here for truth." Security Chief Laura Martinez checked her modified sidearm, reconfigured by Jack to operate on dimensional principles. "With respect, Captain, they may not give us the luxury of peaceful discussion." "Then we show them exactly what we can do," Olivia replied. "But they fire first." "Understood." The away team assembled in the transporter room. Olivia, Noah, Maya, and Laura. Unlike conventional transporters, the Horizon's system utilized dimensional folding to relocate matter instantly across space. "The ship will maintain its defensive configuration," Noah explained. "It can now automatically phase between dimensions if attacked." "It's still learning," Maya added with a note of wonder. "The core's evolution has accelerated since we visited the Nexus." The team materialized on the council floor, causing another wave of shocked murmurs. Laura immediately scanned for threats, while Noah set up a small device that created a dimensional bubble around them, a precaution against any atmospheric attacks. "I am Captain Olivia Wright of Earth Vessel, the Horizon," Olivia announced, her voice amplified across the chamber. "We come seeking answers about the deliberate suppression of human dimensional research." A tall crystalline being moved forward. "The Council Overseer. Humans have violated 73 statutes of the Accord of Realities. You will surrender your vessel for dismantling and your minds for purging." "That's not going to happen." No stepped forward, activating a holographic display. "We've learned the truth about the Accord. It isn't about safety. It's about control." The display showed evidence they had gathered from the Nexus. Records of Council interference on Earth, deliberate sabotage of human dimensional experiments, and classified reports identifying humans as dimensionally gifted. "You've manipulated our development," Noah continued. "You've broadcasted our failures as entertainment while secretly fearing our potential." The council chamber erupted in angry shouts. Several representatives called for immediate military action, while others demanded the humans be heard. "Your species is dangerous," the overseer stated coldly. "Your neural architecture allows dimensional perception beyond established safe parameters. If humans were to access the Omega dimension, the stability of reality itself could be compromised." "You mean your control could be compromised?" Maya countered. She displayed brain scans comparing human neural patterns with other species. "Our minds aren't flawed. They're evolved for dimensional perception in ways yours are not." Laura suddenly tensed, her hand moving to her weapon. "Captain, energy weapons are being prepared. The Council has maintained dimensional peace for millions of years," the Overseer declared. "We will not allow primitive humans to undo that order." Olivia stepped forward, unafraid. "We didn't come seeking conflict. We came seeking respect and the freedom to develop without interference." "That freedom cannot be granted," the Overseer replied. "Your vessel has already demonstrated capabilities that threaten the Accord. The human homeworld has been targeted for preemptive cleansing." Noah's face paled. "You've sent ships to Earth." The operation began the moment you entered this chamber, the Overseer confirmed. Your world will be sterilized to prevent dimensional contamination. Laura raised her weapon as council guards advanced. Captain. Olivia's expression hardened. Noah, signal the horizon. Emergency protocol Tesseract. The ship pulsed with blue light, sending a dimensional wave rippling through the chamber. Time seemed to slow around them. This is your only warning. Olivia addressed the council, her voice eerily calm. Recall your fleet from Earth, or witness firsthand why you were right to fear humanity's dimensional potential. The Overseer's crystalline form vibrated with anger. You have no concept of the forces you threaten to unleash. Neither do you. No replied quietly. That's what truly frightens you. The combined armada of the Galactic Council emerged from dimensional gates near Jupiter, thousands of warships arranged in attack formation. Their target, a small blue planet whose inhabitants had committed the ultimate transgression, mastering dimensional technology without permission. Back on Earth, global defense systems activated as alien vessels entered the solar system. Military commanders stared helplessly at their screens, knowing their weapons were useless against such advanced technology. We have no way to stop them, the United Nations Secretary-General admitted to the Emergency Council. Our most powerful weapons are like stones thrown against starships. Then, at the edge of the solar system, space itself began to warp and twist. The horizon appeared, positioned between Earth and the approaching armada. But the ship had changed dramatically. Its hull now rippled with complex geometric patterns that seemed to exist in multiple places simultaneously. Streams of multidimensional energy flowed around and through it. Inside, the crew had undergone their own transformation. Their neural pathways had evolved through continuous exposure to dimensional energies, allowing them to perceive reality in ways no human had before. Olivia stood on the bridge, but no longer needed physical controls to pilot the ship. Her consciousness had partially merged with the Horizon systems, allowing direct mental commands. They refused to withdraw their fleet. Noah said, his body occasionally shifting between dimensional states as he spoke. This is their answer. And this is ours, Olivia replied. She closed her eyes, connecting more deeply with the ship. The horizon began to pulse with energy. Each pulse sent dimensional waves radiating outward, bending the very fabric of reality around the vessel. The ship is accessing all 7 dimensions simultaneously, Maya reported in awe. It's creating a cascade effect. The lead vessels of the Council fleet opened fire. Massive energy beams streaked toward the horizon, only to vanish into dimensional pockets before reaching their target. They still don't understand what they're facing, Jack said from engineering. The ship isn't just using dimensional energy. It has become dimensional energy. Noah monitored the cascading effect as it spread. The dimensional barriers are thinning throughout the system. Every weapon they fire only accelerates the process. On the Council flagship, the Overseer watched in growing horror as his vessel's weapons simply ceased to function. Some ships reported their energy cores collapsing, while others found themselves temporarily phasing out of normal space. Impossible, the Overseer whispered. They've created a dimensional nullification field. No species has ever managed to sustain one on this scale. The horizon began to glow with blinding intensity. What happened next would be debated by scholars across the galaxy for centuries. The ship didn't fire weapons in any conventional sense. Instead, it released a pulse of 7th-dimensional energy that rippled across space. When the pulse reached the Council fleet, their weapons and dimensional drives simply stopped working. Thousands of ships floated helplessly, unable to attack or retreat. What have you done to our vessels? The Overseer demanded, his transmission reaching the horizon. We've temporarily aligned them with a single dimensional plane, Noah explained. Your technology requires multiple dimensional states to function. We've simplified your existence. This is your demonstration, Olivia added. We could have done much worse. The Overseer's crystalline form trembled with rage and fear. The Council will never accept human dimensional sovereignty. It violates everything the Accord stands for. The Accord was built on lies, Olivia replied calmly. The custodians of the Nexus showed us the truth. Dimensional technology was never meant to be controlled by any single power. We're not seeking to rule, Noah added, but we will not be ruled either. Earth will continue its dimensional research without interference. And if we refuse these terms, the overseer asked, then we'll share our knowledge with every suppressed civilization in the galaxy, Maya said. The Council's monopoly on dimensional technology will end either way. For several tense minutes, no response came. Then, one by one, the Council ships began to withdraw, their conventional drives carrying them slowly away from Earth. 3 days later, representatives from the Council arrived at Earth to negotiate the new dimensional accords. Humanity would not be conquered or controlled. Instead, they would become the guardians of dimensional knowledge, ensuring no single power could monopolize it again.